that there will be more instability in global financial markets in the next few years. The US monetary policy taper, or the unwinding of the unconventional monetary policy, has indeed begun, and as announced by the new Fed chair, Janet Yellen, it will continue over the next year and a half. And the likelihood of the policy rate in the United States going up is now very high by mid-2015, if not earlier. And the point of that is that that is just the beginning, in the sense that it's the other advanced economies also, that is the Bank of England, which has also done a huge expansion of monetary policy in the last 5 years. They have not yet begun their taper. Similarly, the Bank of Japan, that will of course happen much later, but at some point they will also have to start contracting in terms of monetary policy, and also, of course, Europe, the European Central Bank. So, one of the things that we do need to understand from an emerging market point of view is that there will not be the kind of cheap capital that has been available in the last 5 years. And in a sense, there's nothing wrong with that. We did well even before capital was as cheap as it has been, but we do need to guard ourselves, both from the macro managers, macro policy managers, both fiscal managers as well as monetary managers, to understand that this is bound to happen, but also from the corporate point of view. One of the things that has happened in the last 5 years in Asia is that the corporate sector is indeed, as a whole in Asia, of course there are country variations, the corporate sector as a whole in Asia is more leveraged than it was 5 years ago. Nonetheless, it is still less leveraged than historic averages. But it is more leveraged than it was 5 years ago. And what it does mean is that both from the macro manager's point of view, from investors' point of view, that there are indeed some weak corporate entities in Asia, which will need to be watched carefully, because they will have difficulty in the coming years, but not the corporate sector as a whole, which again goes back to one thing that Claude said, that one of the differences in the next 5 years would be that you have to differentiate much more, not just among countries, but also among corporate entities, and including in this country. So the basic point I'm trying to make there is that, yes, the growth of emerging markets will be much higher than advanced economies quite some time to come. Their markets will continue growing, their growth will be higher, domestic demand as well as exports. But there are going to be some difficulties from the financial side, which will then translate into some real economy corporate sector entities.